Imagine surviving a car crash or sports injury, only to face lifelong memory loss, tremors, or emotional instability. That's the hidden reality for millions living with the long-term effects of traumatic brain injury, or TBI. Before we dive into it, here's an outline of what we'll be covering in the coming minutes. TBI is one of the leading causes of death and disability worldwide, with up to 69 million new cases each year. Adolescents are most at risk, but older adults experience the worst outcomes. Traumatic brain injury occurs when an external force causes the brain to collide with the skull, leading to structural damage, disrupted neural connections, and inflammation. But the damage isn't just immediate. Each year, over 80,000 Americans are discharged with long-term TBI-related disabilities, ranging from memory loss to seizures. TBI unfolds in two stages: primary injury at impact, often involving axon shearing, such as diffuse axonal injury, and secondary injury over hours to days, involving inflammation, excitotoxicity, and subsequent cell death. Current treatments focus on acute stabilization, but don't prevent long-term damage. Up to 25% of severe cases develop chronic seizures or post-traumatic epilepsy. TBI survivors also often face reduced quality of life and a shorter lifespan, by as much as 9 years, placing huge emotional and financial strain on families and healthcare systems. Which is why we need better solutions. Therapies that don't just stabilize, but actually help the brain recover. Let's look at what's currently available and how we propose to change that. For mild TBI, treatment is usually limited to rest, monitoring, and symptom management. But in moderate to severe cases, surgery is often required to prevent further damage. This includes decompressive craniectomy, where part of the skull is removed to relieve pressure, and basal cisternostomy, which drains fluid to prevent swelling. While these techniques are critical for survival, they don't repair brain damage or help recover lost neurological function. Once stabilized, patients typically enter interdisciplinary rehabilitation, which may include speech therapy, cognitive training, physical, and occupational therapy. In Canada, however, fewer than 50% of TBI patients receive coordinated rehab within 6 months. In the US, rehab can cost over $1,200 per week. Current approaches to TBI focus on stabilizing the brain and helping patients adapt to impairments, rather than restoring function. They are often expensive, not widely accessible, and don't address the root cause of long-term disability. This is where neuromodulation has the potential to fill that gap and enable recovery at the brain circuit level. Our solution is to use deep brain stimulation to treat traumatic brain injuries. As deep brain stimulation is already an established treatment for conditions involving disrupted neural circuits, it can be applied to improve neuronal function after head trauma. Deep brain stimulation consists of implanting tiny electrodes into specific areas of the brain that deliver electrical pulses. This stimulus affects the behavior of local neurons to alter brain function and help fix abnormal brain activity. It consists of preliminary imaging, surgery to implant the device, stimulation with the device, and the device components. Our solution focuses on changing the stimulation for TBI. While rehabilitation works by reinforcing the brain function that remains, DBS aims to directly modulate and restore impaired neuronal connections. In other words, we are no longer just managing symptoms, we're working to repair the brain itself. Our solution must be able to effectively modulate neuronal activity in a variety of brain regions with adjustable parameters to ensure it can treat multiple impairments that can result from TBI. It also must be made of biocompatible materials and last up to 10 years. Due to the variety of impairments that can occur as a result of TBI, DBS serves as a treatment that can be tailored to the individual. Whether the affected function is motor, cognitive, or behavioral, the brain region and stimulation parameters can be adjusted accordingly based on current use of DBS for the impaired functions. For example, someone is in a car crash and sustains a traumatic brain injury. Shortly thereafter, they develop impaired motor control, notably a tremor. They go to physical therapy but see minimal improvement. This is where DBS comes in. We would target the ventral intermediate nucleus of the thalamus, a region involved in modulating motor signals and commonly used in DBS for tremor control. Using high-frequency stimulation around 130 Hz, a pulse width of 60 to 90 microseconds, and adjustable amplitudes of 3 to 5 volts, we can disrupt the abnormal rhythmic activity causing the tremor. This stimulation disrupts abnormal firing patterns in the motor circuit, allowing more normal movement signals to pass through. As a result, the patient experiences reduced tremors and improved coordination, ultimately enhancing their quality of life. This is drawn from how DBS is used in Parkinson's disease, where similar stimulation restores motor function despite a different underlying cause. As DBS is already used clinically for other conditions, the feasibility of this solution is strongly supported. Current DBS systems allow programmable stimulation and can be implanted in various brain regions. Using durable materials such as platinum iridium electrodes, nickel alloy wiring, and titanium casing, the device is biocompatible and lasts extended periods of time in the body. This application has the potential to shift treatment for TBI from managing symptoms to actively restoring brain function, reducing the long-term burden on healthcare and overall improving quality of life for patients. The ethical concerns of using DBS for TBI fall into three key areas: surgical risk, uncertain long-term effects, and equitable access. First, surgery carries risks. DBS involves penetrating brain tissue, and studies report infection in up to 5% of cases, and intracerebral hemorrhage in about 1%. Second, long-term effects are still being studied. While many patients do well, some experience cognitive or motor side effects in 3 to 4% of cases. We address this by carefully screening candidates before treatment to ensure the benefits outweigh the risks. Third, access to DBS is limited, yet TBI disproportionately affects marginalized communities. To improve accessibility, our solution includes low-cost diagnostics using webcam-based imaging, remote programming algorithms for local care teams, and cost-saving manufacturing, which can reduce production costs by up to 40%. With ethics addressed, the next step is meeting regulatory requirements for clinical use. In Canada, DBS is considered a Class 4 high-risk device, so we'd need Health Canada's investigational testing authorization to begin clinical trials, followed by a medical device license application for full approval. In the United States, we would pursue approval through the FDA, starting with an investigational device exemption, then submitting for pre-market approval once safety and effectiveness are demonstrated. In the European Union, the process is governed by EU MDR regulations, where data is reviewed by a notified body and approval is granted through CE marketing. To be approved for real-world use, we must also meet international safety and performance standards, including proof of neural safety, biocompatibility of all materials, electrical safety, validated software, and MRI compatibility. Because we're adapting an existing DBS framework for TBI, our solution is well positioned to meet these requirements. In summary, our proposed solution uses deep brain stimulation to go beyond stabilizing traumatic brain injuries, offering a way to restore lost function by reactivating damaged neural circuits. In the future, we aim to evolve this into a closed-loop system that monitors brain activity in real time and automatically adjusts stimulation. This would make treatment even more personalized, efficient, and accessible, bringing us one step closer to truly transformative care for TBI patients.